Hello everybody, my name is Billy, known as Venom Hilux on the RC Sparks forum board. This here is my one-off custom-made trail truck, or trail crawler as I like to call it. It's been called the BS Designs. BS is my initials, and I like the alternate meaning of it, so I like to use that. But the BS Designs TC01, TC standing for Trail Crawler. I have a handful of different trail trucks, and I wanted something that wasn't a kit, something that utilized pieces that I like, some pieces that I had just lying around the house. And I thought about it for several years as far as what I wanted to do. I always came down to the same few key pieces. I knew whatever I built, I wanted to have the Jeep body. I knew whatever I built had to have the RC four-wheel drive T-Rex axles. I just liked the way they look. So I sourced out and got me a set of those. I happened to get a good deal on the ones that has the ARB diff housings already on it. I already had in my parts box a leftover Scx10 transmission. And I like this transmission. I just took it out of my Dingo so that I could put in RC four-wheel drive transmission with rear dig. So since I had this lying around, I got to thinking, well, I got the transmission. Let's go ahead and pick the parts up and build what we want. I really like the Tamiya CR01 frame rails. I have a CR01 and I really like the way these look because they're thick and beefy, have the twin holes, and just look really, really nice. So I ordered a set that's in the little luster shine finish. I cut down the front block so that it'd be just wide enough for my servo to fit across the front and be a chassis mount servo. I cut down the rear battery tray. This is the battery tray off of the CR01 chassis. I cut it down so that it would slide into the frame rails, and it's just long enough to fit my 3-cell 2200 milliamp battery pack. Sits nice and low into my frame rail, as does all my electronics. My shock towers, I just used a set of, these are actually a set of lowering or lifting add-on towers that you add to your Scx10 from Hot Racing, I believe. Shocks are just a set of, there's no springs in there, it's just oil running in full droop of, I believe they're actually Red Cat shocks. Got a really, really cheap. I got them in. I was surprised at how smooth they actually worked, so I ran with them. 4-link on the rear, custom made with brass pipe or tube and all threads all the way through. I'm using a set of angled RC four-wheel drive rod ends on the bottoms, and a set of offsets, we can get a picture there, on the top. I've got a stainless steel drive shaft using the U-joint. I had ordered a set of Junfac, I believe is how you say it, but they didn't have the angle needed. They would bind up, and so I had to get these. They're just no-name brand ones found on the internet, but they seem to work pretty well. Again, T-Rex axles. On the front, keeping the chassis mounted servo, I went with a 3-link. Bottom bars, oh, there's my chair, there you go. Bottom rails go into a mount on the axles. Make you dizzy swinging this thing around. On up. And then I have my 3-link mounted there to the top to keep the axle from twisting. And then I have my panhard going from the frame rail to the top. Get this wheel out of the way. To the top link. Tried my best to keep the angle of the panhard bar and the steering linkage the same, and in doing so, I get this screw press. I did it with very little, if any, bump steer, which works out really, really nice. Articulation on this guy, these are a set of 1.55s, RC four-wheel drives, came with my Trailfinder 2. Didn't use them. I have about 4 inches of flex on this thing. Plenty, considering the short wheelbase. My ground clearance on it is actually quite high, considering that's at full droop. And then by the time you get everything to drop, you got an extra inch or so. So plenty of flex, plenty of ground clearance. It'll actually clear a city curb. I can bump on it, go straight up, and it'll clear because the wheelbase is so small here and the ground clearance is so high there. So I've been very impressed with this thing as far as how well it will climb and crawl. I've jokingly said to many of my friends that I set out to make a trail truck, and what I ended up with was actually more of a rock crawler. And that's why it got dubbed the trail crawler, because my use is mostly going to be on trails. But anytime I find somewhere, rocks or anything that I want to climb, I can. These are a set of Baja Claw TTCs, Mickey Thompsons from RC4 Drive, again on the 1.55s. The bead locks, the regular hardware that comes with these, I always have a hard time getting them tight. So what I did was drilled out the wheels to accept larger hardware. And I drilled and tapped the hubs in the back, and then just used that basically as the nut to drive the bolts into. Allowing me to actually get these to tighten and not have my hardware fall out on the trail while I'm out and about. Motor is a Roar stock 97 27 turn stock motor. A bit of timing on it. Unfortunately, it runs faster in reverse because of its time direction. But you know, just control that with my radio. Normal nylon 87 tooth 48 pitch spur gear, running a 12 tooth 48 pitch pinion gear. Reason is these RC4 drive axles are geared really, I'm guessing high is what I'm going to have to say, considering the transmission they're made for is geared exceptionally low. So when I put them with this axial transmission, with its stock gearing, 17 tooth pinion 87 spur, this little guy thought it was a little race truck and was just speeding around, sucking my batteries dry and burning up my motor and my ESC. ESC is just the axial, was a AEX5 or AE5. I like them. They're inexpensive. They've got drag brake and they work pretty well. And they're 3-cell capable. Just a Spectrum receiver. Nothing fancy going on in there. 4-channel. Little brass tube across the top for shock brace. I don't have, you may or may not have noticed, on my battery tray, I don't have a cross strap or anything holding it on. Didn't need one. When the body is on here, the bed of the truck sits right across the top of the battery, keeping it in place. Don't have to worry about it. That's that guy. On the body, this is a Tamiya Jeep Wrangler body. Cut down, cut the fenders off, the side steps, arched the back, wedged it out so that I can clear these big tires in full flex. They rub a little, but that's by design. I keep it setting pretty low. I cut the back off of it, moved the rear end, keeping this is the factory angle of the top. So that's the same degree angle that it had when it was a full top. I just cut it down, moved it forward, glued it, reinforced it on the inside with some leftover plastic pieces, and then used plastic filler to smooth out the seam line, and catch a little bit of it there, and then The paint job, it's actually metallic gold. And then I put a pair of stockings over it, fishnet stockings, and spray painted the black over the front, and then just let it fade off to black on the rear. And then I sprayed candy red over all that, giving scale effect, kind of like lizards or a dragon. To me, it looks more like a dragon than a snake or anything. But it just gave it a neat little effect, something a little different. Clear windows, front and rear, I just cut them out of thin clear plastic sheeting. Attached the back one with double-sided sticky. Front one I actually glued into place. The back, this is just styrene that I put in L bracket styrene pieces all the way around, and then glued in my thin sheet of styrene, a vinyl faux carbon fiber sheeting on the back to kind of give it a little bed. Holes are cut out for my shock tires to poke through. I will set this on here so we can see on the back. Just 2 holes in the back, line them up with the body post. Post on each side. By the time I wedge them on there, I can use body clips, but I don't usually have to. I do have light buckets with lenses in them, and I am going to be building my light kit for that. And then I've got a set of lights with chrome bezels to go in each one of these holes as well. I do have another 155 rim. I'm just going to try to find me another tire, and I can do either a full-size spare here, or I'm going to make a rack for it up there. Hadn't got that far yet. I do have the dash kit for it. I'm going to be mounting here pretty soon. I finally got my L bracket, so I can do that, and a driver for it. Just haven't gotten that far. With a 2-year-old, it makes things kind of difficult. I plan on doing a running video today, but unfortunately Mother Nature's not working with me, and it's raining like crazy and has been for the last 2 days. So everything is very, very muddy, and I can hear everybody already screaming, "Oh my God, mud videos, mud videos." Not waterproof. Don't intend on waterproofing this one. Just because usually in my area, it's so drought stricken that waterproofing a rig is kind of a waste of time because you'll never get to take it out. That being said, it's raining right now. I have plenty of mud I could be playing in, but just not my bag. At least not for this one. I do have a pile of rocks out in the garage that we will go and we will run this thing over, restack, run them over, restack, and see if I can't demonstrate just how good it is. I may, just for perspective, bring out one of my other trail trucks to run over the rocks to see, as a comparison, how easily this one gets over it compared to how much work one of my other trucks may have to do. Thing is, I don't have anything really comparable to it. Everything else I have is pretty scale. Probably my Scx10 will be my best bet. So that's where we're going next.